And Baldwin IV, the Leper King, stands as a tragic hero in the annals of history. He was crowned King of Jerusalem at the tender age of 13, already bearing the mark of leprosy. This disease, a horrifying affliction in the medieval world, ravaged his body throughout his short reign. Yet, despite the relentless advance of his illness, Baldwin IV displayed remarkable courage and leadership. He was a brilliant military tactician, a shrewd diplomat, and a symbol of unwavering faith. His story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming adversity. Baldwin IV's reign was marked by relentless conflict. The very existence of the Crusader states in the Levant was under constant threat from powerful Muslim neighbors. Saladin, the formidable Sultan of Egypt and Syria, was a constant menace, his shadow looming large over the Holy Land. Within the Crusader states, factionalism and intrigue were rife, undermining their unity and strength. European powers, while offering support, often pursued their own agendas, adding to the complexity of Baldwin's challenges. He was a king beset on all sides, fighting for the survival of his kingdom against seemingly insurmountable odds. Leprosy, known in the Middle Ages as the Scourge of God, was a terrifying and misunderstood affliction. It was a slow, debilitating disease that caused disfigurement, pain, and social isolation. The stigma attached to leprosy was immense, often leading to the ostracization of those who contracted it. Baldwin IV's diagnosis as a young boy was a personal tragedy and a political challenge of immense proportions. The visible signs of leprosy on Baldwin IV's body served as a constant reminder of his mortality. The disease, slowly but inexorably, progressed throughout his life, gradually robbing him of his physical abilities. Despite the pain and limitations imposed by leprosy, Baldwin IV refused to succumb to despair. He displayed remarkable fortitude, carrying out his duties as king with unwavering determination. His courage in the face of such adversity made him a symbol of resilience, inspiring loyalty and admiration among his subjects. Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, was the most formidable adversary faced by the Crusader states. A brilliant strategist and a charismatic leader, Saladin unified the Muslim world under his banner, posing an existential threat to the Christian presence in the Holy Land. His ambition was not merely territorial. He was driven by a deep religious conviction to reclaim Jerusalem for Islam. His rise to power cast a long shadow over Baldwin IV's reign, creating an atmosphere of constant tension and the looming threat of a major confrontation. Saladin's military campaigns were marked by strategic brilliance and unwavering determination. He understood the importance of unity, patiently forging alliances and consolidating his power before launching his major offensives against the Crusader states. His campaigns were not simply acts of aggression, they were carefully calculated maneuvers designed to exploit the weaknesses of his enemies and gradually chip away at the Crusader kingdoms. The Battle of Montgisard, fought in 1177, stands as one of the most remarkable military victories in the history of the Crusades. It was a clash of titans, pitting the young Baldwin IV, aided by veteran Crusader knights, against the seasoned forces of Saladin. Despite being outnumbered, Baldwin IV, despite his worsening leprosy, personally led the Crusader army to a stunning victory, shattering Saladin's aura of invincibility and securing a vital reprieve for the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The Crusader victory at Montgisard was attributed to a combination of factors. Baldwin IV's tactical acumen, the valor of the Crusader knights, and Saladin's underestimation of his opponent all played a role in the outcome. The Crusader forces, though smaller in number, were highly motivated and skillfully deployed, taking advantage of the terrain and launching a surprise attack that caught Saladin's army off guard. The victory at Montgisard was a much-needed morale booster for the beleaguered Crusader states. The Crusader states, despite their geographical location in the Levant, were intrinsically linked to Europe. They were born out of a wave of religious fervor emanating from the West, and their continued existence depended on the flow of manpower and resources from European powers. This dependence, however, came at a price. European monarchs and the papacy often viewed the Crusader states as extensions of their own power, imposing their expectations and demanding a say in their affairs. The papacy, driven by its desire to assert its universal authority, saw the Crusader states as a testing ground for its political and religious influence. Papal legates often meddled in the internal affairs of the Crusader kingdoms, pushing for ecclesiastical reforms and attempting to enforce canon law. This interference sometimes created friction with the local rulers, who resented the intrusion into their affairs and the imposition of practices that were often at odds with the realities of life in the Levant. Internal conflicts plagued the Crusader states from their inception, undermining their unity and weakening their ability to resist external threats. The Crusader society was a melting pot of different nationalities, cultures, and ambitions, often leading to friction and power struggles. These internal divisions diverted resources, created political instability, and played into the hands of their enemies, who were quick to exploit any signs of weakness. One major source of internal conflict stemmed from the rivalry between the established nobility, descended from the first generation of Crusaders, and the newly arrived European knights and settlers. The established nobility, having carved out their fiefdoms and adapted to the realities of life in the Levant, often clashed with the newcomers who arrived with their own ambitions and expectations. This clash of cultures and aspirations created a simmering tension within the Crusader society, undermining the unity that was crucial for survival. The Mamluks, a powerful military caste that emerged within the Islamic world, added another layer of complexity to the challenges faced by the Crusader states. Originally slave soldiers, the Mamluks rose through the ranks to become a dominant force in Egypt and Syria, eventually establishing their own sultanate. Their rise to power coincided with the decline of the Ayyubid dynasty, founded by Saladin, and marked a new chapter in the long-running conflict between the Crusaders and their Muslim neighbors. The Mamluks were renowned for their military prowess and ruthlessness. Trained from a young age in the arts of warfare, they were disciplined, highly skilled, and fiercely loyal to their commanders. Their rise to power was accompanied by a renewed vigor in the fight against the Crusader states. They viewed the continued presence of the Crusaders in the Holy Land as an affront to Islam and were determined to expel them by any means necessary. The Siege of Kerak, launched by Saladin in 1183, stands as a testament to Baldwin IV's unwavering courage and determination. Kerak, a strategically vital Crusader castle in present-day Jordan, came under a massive siege by Saladin's forces. Despite being gravely ill and physically weakened by leprosy, Baldwin IV personally led a relief force to break the siege. This act of defiance, undertaken at great personal risk, showcased Baldwin's indomitable spirit and his unwavering commitment to the defense of his kingdom. The Siege of Kerak was a critical test of will for both Saladin and Baldwin IV. Saladin, having consolidated his power and assembled a formidable army, was determined to capture Kerak, a key stronghold that would open the path for further conquests deeper into Crusader territory. Baldwin IV, despite his rapidly declining health, recognized the strategic importance of Kerak and was determined to prevent its fall at all costs. Baldwin IV's arrival at Kerak, carried on a litter due to his illness, was a moment of great drama and inspiration for the besieged defenders. Baldwin IV, the Leper King, died in 1185 at the young age of 24. Despite his tragically short reign, he left an indelible mark on history as a symbol of courage, resilience, and unwavering faith in the face of overwhelming adversity. His life and reign, though ultimately ending in defeat, offer a powerful lens through which to understand the complexities of the Crusader era and the enduring legacy of this pivotal period in history. Baldwin IV's legacy is intertwined with the tragic fate of the Crusader states. His death marked a turning point, accelerating their decline and culminating in the fall of Jerusalem to Saladin in 1187. Despite his valiant efforts, he was ultimately unable to overcome the internal divisions and external pressures that plagued the Crusader kingdoms. His story serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of these outposts of Christendom in the Levant, constantly threatened by powerful enemies and weakened by internal strife. However, Baldwin IV's legacy extends beyond the battlefield. His courage in the face of a debilitating disease, his unwavering commitment to his people, and his strategic brilliance in the face of overwhelming odds continue to inspire awe and admiration. His story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, individuals can rise above their circumstances and leave an enduring mark on history.